proceedings conscientious. Hello, everyone. I'm Trent Loose on a Red Shirt Friday. Welcome to another live across the pond with my pontification partner, Andrew Henderson. Good afternoon, UK.
Good morning, USA. And what a day today. Oh, can't wait to talk about it.
About Laborless Day?
Tell me, what's Laborless Day mean? No idea.
Well, actually, see, I was going to talk about Laborless Day because, you know, this is Labor Day weekend. Most businesses will shut down in the United States that are not farm related at noon today because they want to celebrate Labor Day on Monday. But I thought in 2021 we should celebrate Laborless Day because nobody wants to work. But then I got to thinking about that. You know what? The folks that are not working are creating an opportunity for most people to work double time. So we should celebrate labor double time because the people who are carrying the load still make life work. So we say thank you on this Labor Day weekend to those that are going above and beyond the duty because their comrades are too lazy to show up to work. How's that?
Seems very simple to me. There's two things I want to say before we go into Laborless Day or double Labor Day or treble Labor Day, whatever, how many Labor Days you want, I don't know. But anyway.
Okay.
Veterans, I think we should just pause for 30 seconds right now and think about those people that gave their lives for absolutely nothing last week.
I want to just remind you that they didn't give their lives for nothing. They brought great awareness to the issues of the day, and they will be part of the solution.
Good. But it's one heck of a price to pay.
It is.
And
you know what? They signed up. They signed up to protect the nation that they loved, and they went out of their way. They went above and beyond the call of duty to bring awareness to the true challenge, and the challenge is within. And so we cannot ever forget, as long as we live, the sacrifice those families, not just the individuals, those families made.
I think those 13 people will become and their families will become very, very people will remember for hundreds of years ahead for what the sacrifice that they've just given due to the malfeasance of a corrupt government.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's the way I see it. I'm sorry, somebody just made a call to me there. But I do feel that very, very strongly. And I think that we should reflect on what happened last week. And then, as you just quite rightly pointed out, then start to see how the world maybe has shifted over the last 7 or 8 days in terms of people's awareness.
There's been a huge shift.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you something that happened last night, and it happened totally out of the blue. And as you know, I was sat in the car with my wife. We were going to pick up a freezer, actually, and just minding our own business, driving the truck, the van, and we were driving out of out of Audlam into Hankelow, and then up through into Nantwich. And when we got to the roundabout in Nantwich, all of a sudden, my wife said, "What's that?" And it was a series of children and adults standing in a line, seriously, with great big yellow cards saying, and the first thing it says is our government and media really telling us the truth? I was like, wow. And as you went past, everybody held up a card. I wish I've taken a video of it, Trent. And the card just went through the story of all the lies we're being told.
Oh, really?
And my wife said, what's this all about? I said, well, that's people who aren't just reading the main news, That's people who know what's going on. And it said right at the end, it said, honk your horn if you agree. So I was there honking on my horn, you see. And you know what? It was the first time that I realized that somebody who hadn't woken up might be starting to.
Yeah.
Why would, and it was particularly interesting the way they used it, because there are 4 people. They didn't use this example, but it was the youth that they were using as an example. They were saying why, for a virus that is 99.97 safe for children, why are we vaccinating our children? Our children are dying. That was the next slide, and it went on through that. And as I woke up this morning, I picked up, and there's been 4 young boys, and I'm going to call them boys because they must be less than 12 years of age, or between 12 and 15 years of age. I'm trying to think what age they must be, have died of cardiac arrests on football fields this week.
Oh my goodness.
In the UK. Now, I that's reported. The Daily Mail have reported one, but I've seen it on social media that there's one in Ireland. This is worldwide, but when do we ever hear of stories like that? And I'm thinking, my goodness, people are really starting to wake up. And yesterday, our Prime Minister said, just like his friend Trudeau, that as from the end of September, people aren't allowed to go to nightclubs, theatres, and large events, concerts, football, I'm assuming. I don't know but it's all large events unless they've got a vaccine passport. And yet everybody that's alive now knows that people are passing on the virus, whether they're vaccinated or not. And yet the government is still pushing this agenda. So I want to sort of talk about that just for 2 seconds and say, the Nuremberg Code after the Second World War stated that you cannot be coerced to put anything in your body. That's one of your basic freedoms. And so just so that you know, if I am stopped from going to see my favorite soccer team, I am going to take my government to court on this. I am telling you, on this public way of producing information, that's exactly what I'm going to do, because they are breaking the Nuremberg Code. And it's, as an elected individual, they have to uphold the law of the land. They're actually going against the law of the land. And I think we should all start court proceedings against our governments. I think mass court proceedings against our government are going to be, because they cannot defend themselves against these actions. Mandates are not laws. And I just want to say that. I think things are coming to a head here very, very quickly around the world. And I just wanted to make that point, that I'm now really pleased because I can see people are really waking up here.
I don't believe anybody thinks that we have time for a court system to make this happen. It's more immediate and pressing.
Well, okay. You're saying that, but as we know, there are, I think,
I'm saying that because how many
kids
in
Germany?
How many people will be jabbed in the years that it takes to get a court proceeding to take place? We don't have that kind of time.
Fortunately for us, our court proceedings are a lot quicker than yours. But I also know that they're in Spain and in Germany, the information's coming out, and in Ireland, the information's coming out that they're already forging ahead with cases. So we in the UK and you in America will be behind this curve, but there are already those court cases beginning to be heard. And it only needs one to prove that the Nuremberg Code has been broken for all these governments to have to follow the line. That's what I believe. Anyway, we'll see. But you're right. It's funny. It's normally the way around with you and me, isn't it?
Right.
You're always the patience, and I'm the one that wants it happening tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ireland has been extreme from day one. And the people, any friend that I have that I talk to in Ireland, they completely eat up and soak up all of the misinformation like it's truth. So to me, the people need to wake up in Ireland. They need to wake up in Israel, and they need to be the leaders in saying, look what's happening to our fellow citizens This is dangerous.
Well, Israel's going to wake up. Israel has just found out, right, that it's been put on it's the most vaccinated country in the world, or the most jabbed country in the world,
Right.
in the Western world, and they've now found out that they can't travel anywhere because nobody will have any of their citizens, because they've got the highest per capita outbreak of COVID, and yet they're all double vaccinated. In fact, some of them are now triple vaccinated. We're going to be close behind, and that's why most people in the United Kingdom want to visit places abroad in the summer, because we don't have the climate to be able to sunbathe and enjoy warm weather. So they want to get away at least once or twice a year. And that's why a lot of people, the amount of people that I've met that have said they've taken the jab just so they can travel is enormous. Well,
No,
what
no,
are they
it's
going to do when they
mind-boggling.
find out?
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, but it's true. Okay. So what? Yeah, only because you know. But what I'm saying to you is, it's
No,
true. But when
no,
they now find
no,
out
no,
they
Andrew.
can't go anywhere, that's when the bottle's going to explode. Because
Okay,
when they find
but
out they're not going to be allowed to go anywhere, the bottle will explode, Trent. And that's coming right now, within the next month.
but I want
Our trajectory.
but I want you to understand and be clear when I say it's mind-boggling. Everybody that I talk to in the U.S., like everybody being like 90% of the people, well, I don't know if the jab is safe, but I want to continue to travel. It is 9 out of 10 people that I talk to. It's mind-boggling that people think that travel is more important than researching that there might be a risk for the gain of putting this substance in your body. It's mind-boggling.
Well, and do you know what's really interesting about this is that everybody that knows me, in my close knit family, they know that the one thing that I live for, me,
Mhm,
is travel.
mhm.
Me,
That's not what you live for.
no, I mean that in a for educational purposes. I love to take my family abroad.
Yeah,
We've been
I
abroad. We
understand
love
that.
it. We've had great times. We see new cultures, new countries, etc. And what I'm trying to say to you is, that's the one thing that, when I work hard during the year, I do live for my vacations to maybe come and visit you, Trent.
Mhm.
Those are the moments I live for with my family. Now, the fact that I have turned around and said I'm not going anywhere and I'm not taking the jab, that should have been that should have been a red light flashing on top of somebody's head that says, if I've taken that decision, because that is when you realize that there's something very, very wrong here. And
Yeah.
I look, Israel and the UK are heading for a civil disaster. That's what it's heading for, because of the amount of people. We have got 10 times more people getting COVID in August than we did when nobody was vaccinated in August last year. The deaths are 10 times more as well. And those figures aren't made up. They aren't fake news. They are the England and Wales hospital figures. So people won't read them because they don't want to read them, but I've read them. And those figures are showing as well that young people are 57% more likely to die. That's what it's showing.
Mhm.
But people don't want to look at it.
I know.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm
So
showing people, and I'm showing 3 or 4 people today, and they've gone, oh my God, well, why is it not on the news? I said, forget the news, make your own, look at it
right.
yourself.
Yeah, why isn't it
The
on the
figures are
news?
there.
Okay, so
You
back
know?
to your original statement that your wife Claire, the lovely Claire, has not seen the world and these numbers the way you have. She
Not at
asked the
all.
question when these people were standing with their yellow cards. What was
Yeah.
her takeaway? Did she pause to think?
I've been, we have I love my wife dearly. And what I like about this is, it's not, see, when it's me, it's, I'm very opinionated. You know that, Trent, yourself. Everybody listening knows that. And that's why I'm saying that if somebody has to live with me for 30 odd years, it needs to come from somebody else. And when it starts to come from somebody else, because I'm in a minority, whatever way you look at it in the UK, remember, 62% of our population, and that excludes children, have already taken the jab. So I've got, I'm the one in 10,000 people that that has decided to stand up against this.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand her position on this, but I will admit this as well. She says, I need to find out from other people what's going on here. That was basically what she said, and I admire her for that. Okay. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to say to you just on this though is that if that starts to happen, and I've seen it 3 or 4 times now, but it was the first time I've seen it locally. Right. If that starts to happen, and I think it's going to happen everywhere, especially as these figures come out, Israel is like a big flashing red light to everybody. Israel has got Armageddon ahead of it, if you look at that.
Absolutely.
Figures. And so I want to change to the where we should be looking though, Trent, is the country that didn't lock down.
Sweden.
That didn't have mask mandates. That's had
that had chickenpox parties. They had chickenpox parties.
Yeah. And look at their deaths. And then we can celebrate with them because, and I'm telling you, news. You want news? I'm going to give you news. Because I've just turned on my phone and I've seen something. I've now verified it while I've been talking to you. And it'll mean loads to our listeners. It won't mean anything to you, but it'll mean loads to our listeners, this will. And that is, guess what, folks? ABBA have reformed. The group that wrote Waterloo and all those fantastic tunes all over the world, sold over 400 million records, third only to the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, have reformed after 35 years from Sweden. And Sweden is the country you all need to look at how they've coped with coronavirus.
You've never been more reformed, right.
They've announced money. If I said to Trent, do you remember the musical Mamma Mia in Vegas, which was huge? That's ABBA. Mamma Mia was a huge show in Broadway in the US as well. That's ABBA. That's all about ABBA. So we're going to now see it through music, through a group that come from a country that actually dealt with coronavirus correctly. What a great bit of news for the world that's going to be. Because the focus, because of their popularity worldwide, and believe you, I'm right here, Trent, they are hugely popular worldwide. And the focus is going to be on Sweden, and that's where the focus should be. There you go.
I agree. And that's what you and I will do, continue to shift the focus to where the real story and the science resides. On a Red Shirt Friday, on a double up labor weekend, because people working are picking up the slack for those that are slackers. And I'm at the Maryland State Fair. Come by. I'd love to see you at the Maryland State Fair. Come on and say hi this weekend.
I'd love to be there, but I'm not allowed.
And you live for travel. Oh, my goodness. Regaining control for the farmer.
I've always found that the more you travel, the more you learn, and the more that you enjoy your own surroundings when you get back, because you feel all these new cultures. And it's mind you, that's rich coming from you, somebody who's been around how many states in the last 5 months?
Since May 15th, I've now been counting. Now I'm in Maryland. I've been in 39 states since May 15th.
You've been in more states than a professional golfer. I tell you, that's what I'm saying.
And 2 countries.
Yeah. Oh yes, you've managed to do that as well. Unvaccinated. You've actually dodged. You know, it's like you're the only one that's actually gone into Mexico. There's been 1.2 million go the other way while you went in. I can't believe it. Fact,
hey, I'm like a salmon swimming upstream. Everybody's coming to the U.S. I went to Mexico thanks to a daughter.
They were all coming across the border and they said, blimey, who's that with the cowboy hat? I'm going the other way. What does he know that we don't?
Excuse me, I wore a fedora in Mexico. I did not wear a cowboy hat.
Oh, sorry. Well, a fedora. Sorry. Who's that with the fedora? Where's he going? What does he know that we don't know? God, maybe he's after some of the drugs we've left behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, that was the other thing yesterday. Did you see that they're now your $85 billion worth of military equipment is now being sold by the Taliban to the Iranians?
Hey,
Lovely.
maybe
And
maybe we could buy it back on eBay.
yes, but if it wasn't so so important, you would think, really? And then yesterday, the Taliban, right? The Taliban, who are all Muslims, make an announcement that they're going to be supported and protected by the Chinese, the very same country, believe it or not, that stole your election, but also the same country that at the moment is murdering Muslims left, right, and center in the middle of its own country.
Yeah.
What a world we live in.
And the same country that is buying the U.S. farms left and right, China. That is the topic we need to really focus on next week. But for today, we have to say that we are regaining control for the farmer, and we do it incrementally.
None, Michael. I haven't had any coffee.
I have. I've had little sleep and a lot of coffee. Have a great weekend.
I'm just looking forward to seeing the end of this movie.